What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Two Knicks Chicks. I'm your girl, Lady and the Chef. I'm joined by my co host today.
D Blocks 21, what's up?
As always, it's good to be back on another episode of Two Knicks Chicks, where we break down all Knicks content. So we do a lot of pregame, postgame coverage. And today we have a few things to cover today. I definitely want to recap the Knicks win over the Washington Wizards. That was a nice win. And then we'll talk about tonight's game against Portland Trailblazers, who's not doing well this season, but it's a team that the Knicks don't want to sleep on. As any team, as you always say, it's up for grabs for anyone. And then we have a couple other things we want to discuss with Jalen Brunson, Taj Gibson, and so forth. But first, we'll go over the last game against Washington. Knicks beat Washington. It was a nice win, 121 to 105. To me, that was a much needed win. Washington's another team like Portland, who the Knicks are playing tonight, who are struggling. And the Knicks have already beat Washington already so far this season. So this was, to me, a win that the Knicks should be grabbing. And along with the other teams that the Knicks should be beating, this is one of those teams that the Knicks should definitely have gotten a win. Julius Randle finished with 39 points, 7 rebounds. OG Anunoby finished with 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Isaiah Hartenstein finished with 19 boards, 8 points, 2 assists. Jalen Brunson finished with 33 points, 8 assists. Dante DiVincenzo finished with 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Josh Hart finished with 4 rebounds, 9 points. Quentin Grimes finished with 6 points, and Miles McBride finished with five, and Precious had two. So overall, I thought it was, I don't want to say the best as far as well balanced scoring, but I thought that was a great win because it was well rounded amongst the team. And that was another nice team effort, collective win that the Knicks had and that the Knicks needed. So I like the way to me, that the Knicks played that game. I thought they, like we said, guys are moving without the ball, guys are cutting to the basket. There was a couple of, like, I would say, sloppy plays that I did see in the game that I was kind of like, what's going on here? Not that I was worried or concerned about the Knicks getting down or anything like that, but it was just a little couple of like sloppy plays that I did see within the game itself. But overall, I thought that was a solid win from the Knicks. I like the energy that I saw. And I thought the Knicks did pretty good. Field goal percentage wise, as far as stats, the Knicks was at 49%, Washington was at 47. 3 pointers, the Knicks was at 38. Washington was at 35. Free throws, the Knicks finished 21 for 24. They were at 87%. Washington was at 60. They were only 12 for 20. That's crazy. Total rebounds, both teams finished with 44, 45. Knicks finished with 11 offensive rebounds, Washington 12. Defensive rebounds, Knicks finished with 34, Washington 33. Knicks finished with 27 assists, Washington 33. Knicks only had 2 blocks, Washington 3. The Knicks finished with 9 steals, Washington had 5. The Knicks did have 14 turnovers in that game, and Washington 20. Both teams finished with 52 points in the paint. So one of the stats that stands out for me is definitely the turnovers. I definitely would like the Knicks to keep it to no more than 10 a game, just because turnovers is one of those things that do hurt the Knicks a lot in the game. But overall, I'm happy with the win. I thought it was a solid win. Your takes from that game?
Yeah, it was. That was another great win, for the Knicks. They for the year they 4-0, which is a nice way to start off the year.
Right,
It could easily be 2-2,
right,
because I'm quite sure, the odds wasn't in their favor for that Philly game, and also the what was that, the Bulls they played, right, or something.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so but just overall, we're gonna talk about just the wins in general, and they won. That's what matters.
right.
There was that Washington game where it was, Washington went on a run, so it was
Mhm.
like a little mini run. So it was it made you like, oh boy, I hope the old Knicks is not creeping back So things like that. It makes you, just kind of, stand on the edge, and but they pulled it out, and just the combination of Randall and Brunson, 72 points. That was huge, and just like the style of play. They, when they play their style, tempo, you know, and just like I said, overall, just executing it, their offense. It's a win-win for them, and that was a great game, regardless what the standards are for the opposing team. You still go out there and play. Um,
Right.
so it's just hope, like tonight, this is a game you can't sleep on. Portland, that they're young, same thing with the Wizards. So these are the teams that, because they're young, they seem to be very athletic, and the pros with them, they like the run, but the cons with them, sometimes they outrun themselves, where they don't run their offense, and that's an advantage for the Knicks. But again, a great win. I love that pass. It was this one pass. I was just watching it when Brunson, when he threaded the needle to iHeart, and he
Hmm.
just slammed it. And kudos to iHeart, man. He's playing like with the S on his chest, man. He's playing so great when he's putting himself out there. He's exposing himself. Like, well, let's hope that they could bring him back. They signed him, but that was just an overall great win, man.
Yeah, I like the way the Knicks were playing. I mean, it was just a lot of aggressiveness within this game. This was a up-tempo game. This is actually the Philly game, but I think if you just look at the way the Knicks are playing, like just that little quick handoff right there from iHeart back to DiVincenzo, and then you see this is what kills me with Randall, the dribbling off your ankle, those little things I want to see cleaned up before the playoffs
For
start.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to see, but what I do like is that the extra pass is being made. You remember before when the Knicks, they whoever was bringing the ball up, not even just the point guard, they would just bring it would be one pass if that,
Yep.
and
They
then
would
they would just chuck
cover
up
the
the
sheet.
ball really quickly. Um, but I like the way there's that extra pass being made, and guys are figuring out. And one thing I'm noticing on a defensive end, the Knicks seem to be locked in as far as
Salute Knicks
like
tonight.
who they're guarding on the floor. You know what I mean? So, and actually, like that bucket right there, I want to see Josh Hart doing that more. That was a nice block by Grimes right there. I thought that was really nice. Deuce being ready for the pass and the open three. That's what we need Deuce to do, and Grimes take that
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
You know what I
And they
mean?
and they're much better on anticipating the screens and not getting caught up also.
Right,
Before yeah, it was like, oh man, it was just so horrible to watch. But as they getting, and just the addition of Ananobi, it just opens a lot of things up for them,
right,
on both ends, offensively and defensively. So, it's just making them a well-rounded and a better team overall,
right.
you know.
You see the patience too. I like how they're not rushing or making the team dictate what shots they need to take. And that's one of the things I know you always allude to is that, see, that was actually good defense. You see what Precious just did? Those type of plays are not going to come up on the stats, but the fact that he stood his ground, didn't create a foul, that's what you have to do when you that big man, whether you're Randall, Precious, iHeart, and not be able to create that foul. But otherwise, I thought the Knicks in this game did a great job playing an up tempo. I don't think Philly thought the Knicks were going to come out with this high energy,
Hmm.
and with this level of basketball IQ. But to me, this was, you see, those are the kind of passes you got to make. They shout out to Josh Hart for noticing that um, Isaiah Hartenstein had Maxi on him, and he was able to make that play. But to me, I just thought that this was just a great, well-rounded game. Now,
And
see,
it,
that can't happen right there. That can't happen. You know,
well, there was a moment in play where Randall did the same thing in Washington. The lane was right open for him.
right,
Nobody was guarding him, and he just went down and he made it. Things like that. Yeah, it shouldn't happen, but it does. Because
right.
for whatever reason, just lacks on the defensive one and on for the other team. But I that was same play. Randall did it in the Washington game. Um, but and I'm glad that they were able to carry it over, for Washington. They still played, with the physicality and got, when need be, ran their offense. So it was just, it was just nice that, they didn't it wasn't lax, playing Washington. They did
Mhm.
have a little moment where Washington did creep in, but they were able to compose themselves and was able to come out with the win.
Yeah, I agree. I just thought that also the Knicks were on as far as shooting the threes. Guys were knocking them down, which is nice. So I definitely see. I thought this was a nice play, and I want to see Isaiah Hartenstein actually do that more and be able to take those floaters, and he can knock those down. We can use those. So overall, I thought that that Philly game, I specifically wanted to highlight that one, even though the Washington game was just as great. But I thought that the Knicks did a really good job. Just the ball movement, the flow of the game. I really liked what I saw, from them overall. But I'm looking for the Knicks to capitalize and get that next win, that fifth win in a row tonight, because this is a team that, like I said, the Knicks should be beating. It's no reason why you should be losing to a team that's nowhere near even 500. you know, Forget 400. They're not even. I think they're like in the twos.
Well, yeah, but that's just it. With a team like Portland, they're young, they're still growing. Um, they haven't found their, I guess their continuity. They lost their leading scorer. So would you? I didn't expect them to be, so I mean sad, but so great because they did lose their leading scorer in Dame. So you know the longest tenure player is was it Anthony? He's only been there for 2 years. I mean, they do have some guys that's been in the league for maybe 5+ years, but just overall, like they're a young team. Chauncey, they're still figuring it out. Um, but again, the Knicks can't, sleep on things like that. You still, like, have to, be mindful and careful of, what they can do, and just they like to run, and the Knicks just gotta just keep up with them. So,
Right.
and which they can. That's it's a no brainer, but still.
Do you like what you're seeing on the defensive end from the Knicks, which is one of their weak points? Like, are you liking what you're seeing so far at the start of the new year in these games?
Oh, for sure. And you don't want to keep harping on because because OG's there, but he has been a difference maker. And
In
the
what
Knicks,
way?
well, just how he defends. Like I said, the offense will come once he, gets more reps in and get the plays down. That'll definitely come. But and just overall, just how he's able to guard, and it just makes it, again, it's creating shots, or rather, it's getting, opportunities for McBride and Grimes. That second unit. So, just overall of how they're playing, more cohesion, continuity. So they need to get back to, that defensive presence of what they were known for, because they fell down, as far as, just their defense.
Hmm.
But for now, I'm good with what they're doing. Yeah, there's always room for improvement, but they're playing great.
Yeah, I think for me, what I like is that guys seem to know where their man is. There seems to be more of a challenge defensively. And I don't see a lot of players getting past Knicks players. I see it feels like one on one, the Knicks are able to handle their one on one. Now, see that shot right there from Quentin Grimes? Sometimes I feel like that shot is rushed. Like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes he doesn't always need to shoot the three that fast. I feel
Yeah,
like he could like shoot a better, more
I
patient shot.
agree.
And I feel like he catches it and shoots it so quick, which is fine in a lot of instances. And see, there's what you're saying with OG. You saw that nice little defensive play right there. That's the little things that you was just referring to because they
Yeah,
almost just had an easy layup and he prevented them from having that easy bucket. So, and then and Isaiah Hartenstein making sure he's in the lane, boxing out to get the rebound, which is so key and so important because if the Knicks could stay in control on the boards, you see that's another good defensive play right there. You got to challenge teams. You can't allow them. And one thing I like too is that the Knicks are making an extra pass. Guys are being selfless and making that extra pass. This way, the defense can just make that easy block or steal when guys are going one on one on the layup. There goes the extra pass again.
yeah,
So
yeah.
if the Knicks continue to keep playing like this, look how guys look aware on the defense. I'll live with that shot right there, but there was guys being aware of where guys was and who's in the lane. Again, great defense reading where the pass was going. So if the Knicks could keep playing with this high intensity and that right there, things like that make me annoyed with the Knicks. Because why would you make that stupid pass?
Well, that comes from their turnovers. They have to clean that up, and hopefully they can get under 10. The less the better. But if they can do 10, you can live
Mhm.
with that. So
Right. See that right there? No one challenged him. Just watched. That you
salute.
can't do. But I just wanted to just play a couple of highlights from the previous games just to touch on how the Knicks have been playing and showing their energy levels in the games. And what the Knicks are capable of doing. But on to tonight's game, the Knicks will be playing the Portland Trailblazers. They're sitting at 10-25 so far this season. They're on a one-game win streak so far. They're sitting at 14 in the standings in the Western Conference. The Knicks are currently sitting at seventh. And again, for some reason, I feel like every time the Knicks win, Miami, Orlando, Indiana, and Cleveland seem to win also because the standings are neck and neck. Everyone's at 21 and 15. Between that
Yeah,
fourth seed and the eighth seed, everybody's at 25, 21 and 15. The only difference is that the Knicks are on a 4-game win streak, but Cleveland's on a 3-game win streak. So, but yeah, I want to be able to see the Knicks take advantage of tonight's game with Portland, who is just, they've been struggling this season. Um, and I want to be able to see the Knicks limit the turnovers, guys to help out on the boards. I want to see that selfish play that I've been seeing. The extra pass is going to be necessary and needed. I think when the Knicks do that, they're successful. Getting Hartenstein involved, get OG involved. I would like to see Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes also come out and contribute in their prospective rights and go out there and give us some buckets. And even if we don't get a lot of points from those guys tonight, I think the Knicks could still win if they share the ball and pass the ball like they did. And guys cut. Don't
yeah,
just stand around waiting for the shot. If you guys cut to the lane when Isaiah Hartenstein may have the ball, cut. He's gonna find you. He's a great passer. So far, I feel confident being that we have won these 4 games, but it's not even just because Portland's a bad team. But this is a team to me. as you and I always allude to, that this is a team that the Knicks should be beating. But what are your keys for tonight's game and what you're looking for?
Well, definitely the Knicks, they have to capitalize, not just because Portland's a young team, but they're prone to turnovers. So, you got to capitalize off of that. They're running gun. They just like to shoot. Now the advantage for the Knicks, you get the rebounds. Um, because Portland have that inexperience, that's an advantage for the Knicks. But overall, I'm just, looking for the Knicks to again control the game, play their style, and control the tempo. Um, they have some, key guys. I don't know. I think Aiton is either out or day to day. So they really just their center, their just their depth. They don't have a lot right now. As far as just uh, a solid backup, like a Aiton, that can guard. So the Knicks
Mhm.
they got to capitalize off of things like that. Um, they're Portland's not a great rebounding team. So this, Knicks got to, crash the boards. So these are things that they can take, full advantage of Portland. Um, and that's where they can, this is an advantage for the Knicks, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the Knicks definitely got to watch out for Scoot Henderson, um, Jeremy Grant, Malcolm Brogdon, who, a lot of Knicks players would like both. I've heard Jeremy Grant's name and Malcolm Brogdon, who's a prospective possible phase 2 guy that they're looking at. Um, I think for sure that the Knicks got to watch out for sure for those guys. And yeah, I see Brunson getting past Anthony Simmons. I don't see him being a problem, but then again, you never know. You know how guys like to go off against the Knicks. But my question to you is, do you think that this bench can keep contributing to the games, or do the Knicks still need to get those missing pieces?
Of course, they need those get those missing pieces. Hypothetically, Washington, although they didn't beat us by much, but their bench outscored our bench, which again the bench, one game they can outscore, and the next game, they're getting beat. So yeah, of course, there's some missing pieces, to help with the bench because right now, well, who we have, Grimes, Deuce, and Precious. Well, Flynn did get some, minutes.
Yeah,
And even just Hartenstein, he's been playing a lot of minutes. He needs someone to come in and hopefully maybe Sims. Somebody did say play Sims tonight, which I hope they do. This will be a good game for Sims to get in, and play. But just overall, like just yeah, they definitely need they missing some pieces for sure.
yeah. I agree with that, but I feel like Tibbs is probably a lot of times, I think with Tibbs, he gets worried about losing those games because he can't really afford to sit down Randall Brunson and Isaiah Hartenstein for too long because I think that's the problem with the Knicks right now. We don't have like true backups for the positions that we have, for the starting positions that we have. So we don't really have a true backup power forward to be take Randall's place, who you feel confident enough that Randall could sit down for a couple of minutes comfortably. We don't
Yeah,
have a backup point guard for Brunson. We don't have anybody. I mean, and granted, I'm not going to throw any shade on Miles McBride because I agree with what you always say is that guys got to get their reps out there. And I feel like, honestly, at this point, I feel more comfortable with McBride going in before Sims just because I feel like he's a lot more ready. Whereas Sims, I don't know. And to be honest, between Sims and Precious Achua, I would rather see Precious in, just because I feel like the experience, the game experience of Precious being in the games more than Sims, I would rather see him in over Sims. And also because Precious, he has a little bit of a jump shot. He can shoot the three. He's not just going to be out there looking for the alley oop or looking to dunk the ball. So I don't know. I just maybe I wouldn't mind giving Sims some minutes if the Knicks could have a nice lead, late in the game. But for me, I would rather see Precious get some decent more minutes this game to back up Hartenstein. But I think that's the problem right now that we're having as the Knicks team, is that we don't have solid backups to the positions that we already have in place. And, you know, the Knicks have to do something about especially that point guard position. You can't keep running Brunson through the mud, playing him this many minutes, and he's going to be worn out before the playoff season. And I don't think that he'll lose gas, because he played pretty well last season, was able to withstand throughout the playoffs. But even for Randall's position, we need another guy who's going to be clutch and who could get us those baskets when we need them. Or even if, maybe Randall or Brunson's having an off night, who do you have that's a backup to these guys? I want to, and truly, I want to see Grimes and McBride, and I believe they can step up. But can they be able to step up when the playoffs come, when we get to that next battle that we have to go through late in the season? Like, they could warm up all they want and start getting hot now throughout the season, with basically hitting the midway of the season. But are those guys going to fade away when the playoffs come? That's what I'm worried about.
Well, I'm hoping that guy won't be here, Grimes, because they do need to make a change, and maybe throw Grimes in, as an incentive, and you got those picks. Um, you know, can you, there's quite a few players out there that can do what he does, that is consistent, defend, um, create their own. So, but Miles McBride, like, if they get that second piece to back up Brunson, I think that would help sustain them, and carry them to the playoffs. And the position also is iHeart. One game he played all but, what he say, 56 minutes. He said he sat down. I read an article. He said he sat down, and they saw Tibbs said iHeart. And he said, I sat down for 56 seconds. So, all but, excuse me, he played all but 56 seconds. So, he's gonna need help. But, Sims, he, some games he's just not gonna be a match, a good matchup, with certain type of players, because his inexperience, you know, he don't really have anything outside. He reminds me of a Mitch 2.0. But
Yep.
with, not so much as with the rebounding and things like what Mitch does. But I'm just, down the stretch, I don't want to. I wouldn't put my money on Sims, as a backup to iHeart.
Yeah, but that's my problem with Sims. He's not ready. And this is
Yeah,
the
well,
problem. Like, the Knicks still have these like handful of guys that are either not ready. You got guys like Fournier who's still sitting on the bench. They still have some work to do as far as cleaning up the roster. And I know that that's coming, but they have to do something, because here's my thing. You finish off the regular season, you make the play in. Are we just going to go in with what we have? And is that going to be good enough for the Knicks to be contenders in the postseason? Because for right now, with who we have, I don't see that us being championship contenders and being able to withstand and play with Boston. Yeah, the Knicks beat Milwaukee, but can you do it in a series and finish
yeah,
out that series strong? Same thing with Boston, same thing with Philly. So I feel like the makeup of the team that we have right now, they still have some work to do with the roster. This is not enough. And it's not smart to go into it with the roster we have now because there's no backups, like I said, you know. So I think the Knicks have to really, you know, Miles McBride and Grimes can step up all they want, but again, the playoffs is a different animal. And will these guys be able to push through like these last 4 games that the Knicks play? Can the Knicks play like this in the postseason and turn it up a notch? Like that's how you're gonna win it. It has to be a collective team effort. It can't be one-on-one individual play. Unfortunately, that's just not it. Um, Nixon Knight says Precious has done nothing. Well, because he hasn't really gotten any minutes. Isaiah
Yeah,
Hartenstein is getting all the burn.
yeah. In all fairness to him, yeah, he doesn't play consistent minutes. He playing what 5, and he's sitting down. Tim Precious.
Salute Hansky Gaming. He said, can Precious shoot it consistently enough to warrant him staying on the floor over Sims? I think so. Because Sims don't shoot the ball.
Yeah, Sims
Sims,
does nice pick and rolls, but
that's about it.
yeah, but as far as shooting, what is his percentage, by the way? But
Right. Paris says Sims had a winning record starting 16 games last year. I can't judge guys who only sit all year and then get starts. When
but
Sims started, he started over what
yeah,
when
Mitch,
Mitch was hurt.
yeah, when Mitch went down, yeah, Sims was the
Oh yeah.
backup center.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was, but and I said the same thing earlier. I said Sims need more. He's only going to get better if he get the reps. But as far as banking on him for the backup down the playoffs, I'm not comfortable with him being that backup option. But hopefully, that's why he needs to play more on a consistent basis now that he's back, so he can get there, and
Right.
it's doable. But
But
he's
I
one.
also think that players like Sims, Grimes, I'll even put McBride in this case. And I feel like McBride for sure has done this, but I think that these guys, when the off season comes, you know, I always harp on this. They gotta hire those trainers who could help them with their game. You remember how you a lot of times you'll send me videos of these coaches who work with certain players one on
Yeah.
one. You guys are getting paid millions of dollars. Invest in yourself. This is your career. Invest in some training because getting the ball, quitting Grimes really quickly and shooting it, we know you could shoot the ball. But how about adding a little spice to that where you could do a 1-2 quick little dribble, put the ball maybe, it don't got to be nothing super fancy, but if you could add a little something besides I catch it and I could release really quickly, you're not at the level of Ray Allen yet. You can get there, but you're not there yet. And he has very much the capabilities to be as great of a shooter as a Ray Allen or, you know, whoever else in the league. But what I'm saying is, you got to work on having some other type of. This is not like back in the day where you could get away with that quick shooting. Back in the late 90s and the 2000s where you could get away with a quick shot. Like teams are going to be able to start to read in and clamp on Grimes when he catches that ball. And sometimes, like when we was just watching the footage from the previous 2 games, sometimes with Grimes, I notice he catches the ball and he shoots it too fast. And I think that's why, like last season, he was missing a lot of his shots because he was shooting it too quick. He wasn't giving himself time to set up and shoot the ball. And not to saying you need all day to be able to shoot, but I've seen a few times where Grimes has put the ball on the floor really quickly and he's done a quick little, quick little 2-1-2 dribble and created some space for himself and then shot the ball. And I'm like, if he would do stuff like that more and also not just wait behind the perimeter and waiting for the ball to come to him and cut, it'll help, get your game juices flowing. And this way you can, you're getting the ball through the hoop. It don't always have to be a three. He could always go for taking a mid-range jumper. You don't always have to go for a three-point shot and shoot something from beyond the arc. But I would like to see Grimes, McBride, and especially Sims. At this point, I don't see Mitchell Robinson doing it, but Sims is still young. And I think to
Well,
even prepare him if he gets traded to another team, if that ever happens, like you want to be an asset to a team. You need the training.
yeah, but that's during the off season. But just right now, how they can get better if they were to get more reps. We that's something they have to work on the off season, but just being active on the floor. And like Tibbs said, if you're not scoring, there's other things that you can do to impact the game. So and but they won't be able to make an impact unless they get the reps in. I've been
Right.
saying this for years. Yeah.
Get one of the Knicks legends for training or any other legend to train them. Yeah. But there's a lot of vets throughout the league who you'd be surprised, guys who are no longer in the league. They don't mind helping these guys out. Remember, who was I saying that they should work with Joe Johnson?
Oh
I can't
yeah.
remember what player I was saying. You think he wouldn't want to go in the gym with you and shoot? Clutch. You think Joe can't still go in that gym and knock down shots from wherever he wants? Joe Johnson could shoot wherever he wanted and he had control. He could post
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
He
he
was
can still
clutch.
shoot.
And guess what? He's flexible. He does yoga. A lot of these guys need yoga. Tyrese Halliburton, I feel bad for that injury he had. But if
Yeah,
that was Wembanyama, he probably wouldn't have hurt himself as bad because he's very flexible. He does yoga. Not just saying you have, but what I'm saying is a lot of players aren't that flexible like that where they add in flexibility into their training is what I'm saying. I'm not saying you got to be a yoga guru to be, prevent yourself because that was just sweat on the floor. He slipped, terrible accident between him and John Morant being out for the whole season. Just horrible, horrible, horrible. But, I just think that like there are a lot of guys who are retired and no longer in the league who will be willing to train with you, and if not them, there's other guys who are really great who train greats like Melo, who train guys like, KD, and who will get you your game into a higher positioning within the game. So this way your game is, you stepped it up. And I
yeah,
hear what you're saying about guys getting in and getting their reps, but I just feel like yeah, you can go in and do the other things, but this is not the time. Like I feel like we're trying to go on a nice run. We're trying to elevate as a team. We need guys who are ready now, not guys who's this is not a AAU league, a high school league, or we're running in the, getting a quick run in at the local Y. We need guys who are ready now, who can make an impact now. That's why Hartenstein gets a big bulk chunk of the minutes because he can make an impact in the game now. We can't wait for
yeah.
passiveness from players.
But the downside with that, he's burning so many minutes. You know how you know how would that fare? But how would that hold? Down the stretch. And to me, I mean, yeah, he's enjoying it, but you know again, how will he hold up down the stretch? We're burning so many minutes. Same thing with Vandal and Brunson.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Harris said Tibbs retards the growth of these young guys. Sims showed up this summer with a three ball and a drop step. Then got buried on the bench after the season opener. I've never seen Sims shoot a three. Have you?
No, but I'm quite sure again, he can shoot. That's the same thing with Hartenstein. He doesn't even shoot the three anymore. Tibbs wants you playing a certain style, and he don't want you diverting from that or going off course. Sometimes if you let the play, play within the scope, yeah, of the game, and that's what they're doing. But let them incorporate things that they if he worked on that, that's something he can incorporate into the game. But we don't know if Tibbs don't want him to.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Which
you
is
know,
a
these
question
players,
mark I have. Like, why aren't they allowing Hartenstein? Because remember, we were just saying like 2, 3 games ago, we was like, yo, I know you were saying, oh, I would like to see him shoot a three before the season ends. But we both were saying how, yo, wasn't Hartenstein shooting a floater last season? And we ain't see it all this season up until 2 games ago.
yeah, he brought back the
Yeah,
floater. Yeah.
which was weird. I was like, why isn't Hartenstein shooting any floaters or a little bit? Like, I just found that so weird that he waited till now to start to do that. Salute Absolute Beginner Guitar Lesson Series. I like that name. He said, I think Grimes has to find his role in the second unit. We have ball dominant players in the starting unit and quickly dominated the ball in the second unit. This is his opportunity to step up.
I
It is.
agree.
I agree with this, but here's the thing with Grimes. Are you comfortable with Grimes bringing up the ball? Do Grimes look like he's ready to bring up the ball?
No, but he no, I'm not comfortable, but there's he can, he can definitely again, find his shot. This is what the trade was all about. So I think the more he plays, the comfortable that comfortability will start setting in, and he can unleash, what he can do. Um, yeah, I'm definitely comfortable with when that second unit, it's bringing up the ball, not so much, but just be able to creating his shot. Hopefully, he can, definitely work on that. And
But do you think Grimes wants to bring the ball up, or you think he wants to play off the ball and be able?
I that I I can't even answer. Maybe if the chat they have an opinion on that. I don't. Yeah,
Because
I
didn't
can't
Grimes
answer.
play point in college? He played
Yeah,
point,
he did. Yeah, and
but
high school. Yeah, and Kyle. Yeah,
to me, Grimes don't look like he's comfortable or like he really wants to bring the ball up. Like whereas McBride looks comfortable doing that, playing that point position. But to me, Grimes looks like he's comfortable, catching, shooting a couple of dribbles, maybe going into the lane for the easy layup. He don't look like he's trying to bring that ball up. Like when we had Alex Burke. He didn't want to bring that ball up, but he had no choice because there was no other option of a point guard. But when he wasn't bringing that ball up, he was a lot more successful shooting and getting us those threes or whatnot. So I feel the same way. It's kind of like with Grimes. I don't feel like Grimes is comfortable bringing up that ball, and I don't think Grimes really wants to play the point. And unless Miles McBride for whatever reason, God forbid an injury, but I just don't feel like Grimes is trying to bring up the ball. I do think that it would be nice, absolute beginner guitar lesson series. I think it would be nice if Grimes did help bring up the ball at times because that's what I'm trying to say. Brunson has no backup and no backup to do to the play to the level that he's playing. The Knicks need a second solid guy who could bring up that ball comfortably without us having to worry about that ball getting swiped away. If the team is playing full court press, who's going to bring that ball up? If somebody's playing full court, now they double teaming and can they see? Brunson may not be that tall, but he's still crafty enough that he can get out of those situations.
yeah, yeah.
He stopped his dribble too soon. You know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. It's the decision making that you have to make when you're that point guard. You're the facilitator. You're the director. You know what I mean? You orchestrate in the offense. So I would love to see Grimes help out and bring up the ball in the second unit. I think that would be great. But I think that goes back to what I was just referring to that Grimes needs to get that ball handling skills in check in the off season. And then I think we would probably feel a lot more comfortable with him bringing up the ball. Um, Paris said, iHeart wouldn't look this way if Mitch was healthy. iHeart looked like crap against OKC, Orlando, and Indiana. It took 5 games to get going. I mean, I don't. I mean, I think that if Mitch was healthy, iHeart would still be playing well. Because to me, he was a solid backup last season, regular season. He was a solid backup last season in the playoffs. And I think that if Mitch was healthy and still playing, he would still be a good, solid backup. But I think that he's done a great job stepping up in replacement of Mitch. The problem was the distribution of the minutes. That was hard for Tibbs to facilitate between him and Mitch. But to me, I mean, and sometimes there's going to be games where guys are off. But I think he found his rhythm. I think
Yeah,
he found his footing, and now he's like, okay, I see where I need to be. But the difference is him and Hartenstein and Mitch play a little differently. Mitch is definitely that great rim protector for your offensive and defensive boards. He's great because he's so tall. His wingspan is long. He could throw the ball up. He's going to hit the dunk. But I think with Isaiah Hartenstein, he creates space and he also is a great passer and a facilitator of the ball for a center. He may not shoot the three, he may not give you too many mid range shots, but I think he could also hit the free throws. He can also he throws really great passes. He knows how to thread the needle really well, and there's spacing for guys like Randall, Brunson, Grimes
yeah.
if they're driving to the basket. And if those guys move, what I'm noticing the difference in the offense is that even if he gets the ball in the middle, the other four guys are moving. So there's options to either throw the ball out in the perimeter or throw a quick bounce pass underneath or a quick little mid chest pass right there under the basket. And then you have sometimes guys like McBride and they'll throw it right back to him so you can get the easy dunk. So I just think that he has a little bit more spice to his game, whereas Mitch is not going to give us that. And that's what I've been saying as far as the center position. That's what we need. I know a lot of people, a lot of Mitch fans are like, no, I wouldn't get rid of Mitch, but Mitch is also injury prone. So if it didn't happen now, it's possible it would have happened later in the season. This has been the same song and dance since he's been a Knick. And I really do like Mitch's game, but sometimes I think Mitch is just stuck in his game is stuck in a box and he can't give you no more outside of that box. And with Isaiah Hartenstein, I think he can give us a little bit more than just rebounding, defensive presence, and.
So Paris, now do you think iHeart would be a starter on another team, or he's just strictly? Do you feel he's just a backup? As he said, iHeart looks better than ever because he's getting comfortable minutes with the starters.
Grimes brought up the ball in the summer. You got to let him live through it. That was the summer. We in the winter. I haven't seen him bring that ball up comfortably during the winter. I just haven't. Paris said, I'll look better than ever because he's getting comfortable minutes with the starters. Yeah, he's finding his footing.
And then
I
he
think
said,
he's finding his way amongst with the starters, that's a great thing because I'm sure both Randall and Brunson would be frustrated if this guy didn't have it together by now. You know what I mean? And Tibbs would be frustrated too. So you got to get with the times and get with it. If not, you're going to be out.
and then the
Oh,
other.
sorry, say that again.
No, he answered the question. He said 100% he would start. Yeah, I mean, I think he would too. You know, he's getting better, and that's what a guy like a Sims need to do: play more reps so he can get better. I mean, let's
Mhm.
face it, iHeart wasn't. I mean, he was decent when he was out, with the Clippers, and he's gotten better because he was thrust into that position. So again, and this is what I was, what I was saying, even with a Sims and, with Grimes and, McBride, although I'm not really completely sold on Grimes just yet, but the same thing with Deuce, but they will get better as they get more reps and and play with that second unit and be a backup, Grimes for Brunson. Um, so
Yeah, I mean, that's he said, my point Tiz would never let iHeart outshine Mitch. iHeart wouldn't get that much time to be. Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. Unfortunately, Mitch would be playing more of the minutes. But I think this is good because this shows the Knicks organization and other teams that Isaiah Hartenstein is definitely worthy of a nice contract and to be a starter on a team, that starting center on a team. He's definitely also, I think even if he wasn't up for a contract extension, he would be playing just as hard. So, I think that he's definitely playing well. Salute
salute,
Shy Powers.
Hours, salute.
Tonight's starting five for the Knicks is Brunson, DiVincenzo, Anobi, Randall, and Hartenstein. And for the Blazers, it's Henderson, Simmons, Kamara, Grant, and Reed. Um, yeah, who I thought would be starting for both teams. I would like to see the Knicks get off to a nice quick start. I want to see guys be aggressive. I want to see the tempo be up pace. I want to see active hands and feet. If we can get some steals, rim protection. I want to see, like I said, other guys helping out with the rebounds. I thought both DiVincenzo and Josh Hart have done a great job helping out on the rebounds. And same thing with what's his name, OG. They're doing a good job helping out with the board. So I want to see the Knicks be aggressive on the rebounds, guard the perimeter. Um, you know,
For
I'm
sure.
all for knocking down the threes. If we can hit the threes, if they're going down, great. If they're not, take it inside. But I think if the Knicks play a nice inside outside game, it's going to work to their advantage. And that's what's been working for them these past four games. The Knicks are not just settling for the 3-point shot or the mid range guys are moving and taking it in. And they're making that extra one or two passes, which is helping them. I also don't want to see OG hesitate. I think I saw one or two games where he had a wide open, like right near the free throw line shot and he made the extra pass. I'm like, shoot the shot. Like, I'm all for the selflessness play and we're making the extra passes. I love it. I love the flow of the pace of the game. But if you have an open shot like that, I want to see OG take those shots.
I
But
concur.
otherwise than that, I'm looking for the Knicks to get a nice lead and maintain the lead. And let's get this win.
Yep, sure enough. Oh, and then we what was that? I'll beat that.
McBride hit four threes in a row and benched him in two full quarters. He just kills the young players' growth. Yeah, we'll see though. I would like to see both McBride and Grimes step up tonight. I will see that. I will say that. I want to see both of them step up and be contributing factors as well as DiVincenzo and OG and even Josh Hart if we can. Like the supporting cast needs to step in and continue to step in and be that factor with both Randall and Brunson and not just let everything fall on those two guys. So I want to see salute Nick Yak. He said watch for McBride and Grimes having nice games. Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. I really would like to see both of them step up and have really solid, nice games tonight.
Yeah,
Um, we didn't mention before we get out of here that Jalen Brunson was voted Eastern Conference Player of the Week. I believe this is his second time so far this season. So shout out to Jalen Brunson.
yeah,
Um,
it is.
well deserved. And then the Knicks did waive Taj Gibson, which you know how I felt about that. I didn't think that he should have been signed in the first place. So, that was just like, I don't know what was the point of that. But, Yeah, so we're still looking out for whatever's phase two of who the Knicks are planning on bringing onto the team. So we'll see what happens with that. I know there's been some talks for, there's still Murray on the table, um,
Brogdon.
Brogdon, right. So we'll see what the Knicks do. But as far as tonight, the Knicks play, um, yeah, the Knicks play tonight. And then the Knicks play again on Thursday. They play Dallas, and then they play again on Saturday against Memphis. So this week the Knicks have some, solid teams they're playing against. Your prediction for these games?
Well, for this week, because what they have 3 games, right?
Yeah, they play today again on
Well,
Thursday against Dallas, and then they play Saturday against Memphis.
I'm riding with the Knicks 3-0.
Yeah,
And definitely prediction for tonight, a nice solid win. And hopefully, the young guys can get in, um, and can make a contribution from that bench.
yeah. I'm gonna go three. I'm gonna go 2-1.
Oh wow. Who you got
Two
them?
and one. Um, you know, and I'm not even counting out Memphis because Ja's not there because they're still a really pretty good team. And same thing with Dallas. But I don't know. I feel like it could be Dallas. I don't know why they got Kyrie back. So I feel like that's definitely going to be one for the money where they're going to have to watch them. But between for sure the Dallas game on Thursday and then Memphis on Saturday, one of those two games, I feel like the Knicks are definitely going to have to come out with that energy. So and really come out aggressive in those games. But yeah, we'll see what happens with those. Um, Nick Yak said McBride last 4 games he has been awesome, and we want to replace him for some reason. We need those cheap contracts. Well, they can't replace him now. I mean, they probably still could, but no, I'm willing for McBride. I want to see him get a chance because he's showing that he can knock down those shots. He came in for that monster slam. So I want to give McBride some time. Same thing with Grimes, but I think Grimes is tricky because there's teams that's interested in Grimes. So with the right trade, Grimes could be up on the table. It's a possibility. Teams will want him.
Keep you on that chopping block for sure.
Right. But yeah, I think out of those, I'm going 2-1. I think Dallas is going to be the more trickier team,
There.
for the tougher team rather. But tonight, I'm definitely looking forward to a win. So I want the Knicks to get a nice lead and run with it. But yeah. Anything else for you before we get out of here?
Nope. Thank you, Paz. Everyone hit those likes.
Yeah, hit the like button. Those of you who are new in the chat and just joining us and watching us for the first time, welcome. Hit the subscribe button and check us out. We do a lot of pre and post game coverage for all things New York Knicks. And in the summertime, we do the New York Liberty content. But yeah, and then you'll see us every month. There's a once a month women's panel on Steph, aka Queen, her channel on Dope Soul Sports and Knicks Talk under the Nothing But Knicks channel. So if a lot of you are subscribed to them and watch them, they'll like have a whole hub of different channels. It's kind of like if you went to like BET, and there's a bunch of shows you could watch. That's like the Nothing But Knicks channel. So Sims is like he's like the founder, and then you got a bunch of channels under them, but they're all really, really good. So shout out to the whole Nothing But Knicks family. They always show love and support, and we're constantly watching their pages because they all. It's nice to hear other Knicks content creators speak their mind and give their views and opinions on the Knicks and what are they thinking. So we're always tuned in. We're always in the chat. We see a lot of you in those chats as well, and we're grateful for you to come and join us as well. So salute to Knicks are nice, Kareem Grant. Who else am I missing? Hansky Gaming. Welcome, Ajay. Salute. Who else? Parish
Nick
Douglas.
Yak,
Salute. Nick Yak. Salute.
Shaw Powers.
Shaw Power. Salute. And I think that's everybody for today.
What was the other? It's
I think that was
Kareem.
every
Oh, you said Kareem, right?
yeah. But yeah, hit the like button before you guys get out of here. Shout out to the replay gang for all of you that are watching our videos on the replay. We appreciate it. Leave those of you that leave us comments. We do respond to all comments. Um, and yeah, let's get those subscriptions up too. Hit the subscribe button as well. And we're gonna have more content coming from you guys. So we're gonna have a good one too coming this month as we will be attending a Nick game. So I'm gonna create a nice video for that and give you guys the inside scoop so you guys can see our whole journey going to that game. So we'll let you know soon what game that is. So we'll just keep you posted with that one. But yeah, thanks to everybody for tuning in. And let's go Knicks, as Diva Locks always says. And we'll see you guys back for the review, the recap of this game, and before Thursday's game against Dallas.
It's on.
Yeah. And until next time, everybody, as we always say, peace
Peace.
out.